This video is brought to you by Ageless Geeks.
Cowabunga dudes and dudettes, this is Anthony, aka Batbomb82, and today I'll be doing a review of the Transformers Siege War for Cybertron Deluxe Class Cog. Now, taking a look at the front, we can see that the figure is showcased in your standard Siege window box packaging. Turning the box around, we can see multiple images of Cog in his robot mode and in his alt mode. So with the box out of the way, let's crack this figure open and see what we have inside. And here's Cog in his alt mode. And this is a decent mode. It is by no means my favorite for this figure. It looks pretty cool, but he has a ton of things going on with him. So let's take a closer look at Cog in his alt mode. Alright, so now let's take a closer look at Cog in his alt mode. Now this is decent, you know, it's nothing great, it's nothing spectacular. It's decent, I like it for the most parts. But the big thing with this particular vehicle is, it splits into two smaller vehicles and these two little attack vehicles like that, which is pretty dope. That's fun. The big issue I have is that that tab just does not work into that port all that well. It is very loose and it comes off very easily. There's almost just like no give to it. So it's almost pointless to even have that. And I know a lot of people had issues with Cog being like loose joints and things like that, especially that port right there. That just does not work. So that's a real big problem with that. So let's just take a look at these individually. I think this looks really nice right here. I love how this kind of reminds me as that like a Batman tumbler shape to this whole part of the vehicle right here. The wheels do spin. That's really nice. And you can clearly tell that those are the arms on there like so. So that's pretty dope. I do dig it for what it is. We also do get this other section right here. Now I like this particularly because it has like those tank treads on the back. I think that's really cool. And you can tell these are clearly the legs. So the vehicle slash alt mode is decent. I do like it. It's okay. Definitely not my favorite. I think it's definitely one of the weaker modes pretty much from the entire Siege line, but is what it is. So I'm gonna get this guy all transformed and let's see what we got. Okay, so the transformation for this guy's pretty easy. He's actually one of those transformers where you have to take things apart and reattach them. So I'm just going to take those off like so. We're going to lift this whole section up like that. And we're just going to rotate that head in there. So we got that like so. Then we're going to take these. These are initially just the arms. And those will peg right into those sockets like that. There. And then take this one right here. Like that. So that's pretty cool. So we know we have the whole upper torso, which looks good. Now we're going to take this section right here, take these off. We're going to unplug the legs like that, and we're going to fold these down right here like that. There we go. Now we're going to take this peg that's on this, and we're going to port that right in the center right there, just like that. Then we can take these, plug these back on, just like that. And then we can do anything we like with these guns. Put them in his hands like so. And we have a very easy transformation to Cog. And I think that looks pretty good. And here's Cog in his robot mode. Now, I actually like this one the most out of all his different modes. I think he looks freaking cool. I love the colors and the sculpt, and everything about this version is really fun and really excited to check him out with you guys. So let's take a closer look at Cog in his robot mode. Alright, so now that we have him in his robot mode, let's take a closer look. So I think this is pretty rad. I like the robot mode far more than I like his alt mode. I just think this looks fantastic. He has a lot going on, and it looks really freaking cool. So starting off with that head sculpt, man, I think they just did a killer job with that. I love the shade of blue that they've used with this entire figure, and the silver they use all throughout the body, and especially onto the eyes right there, just looks really good. And yeah, I'm loving that a lot. So the figure just has a ton of great sculpt all throughout the entire piece. All those panel lines, really sharp, clean paint. That's what I've really loved about this entire Siege line, is just everything from the sculpt to the paint is just so well done. Got some nice red here at the bottom. You can see where those like tank tracks go toward the back. These wheels still spin, but you can see there's even a porthole in his booty hole right there if you wanted to put him on a stand. So that's cool. And you have a little tab right here for something, you know, other types of stands and things like that, or attachments, whatever you want to do. But everything about this looks cool. It's a little hollow back here with his back, but that's not terrible. It's not really all that big a deal to me. But I love the fact that we even have little silver, that splatter effect that the Siege line is really popular with, and I love that. I wish this guy had a little more of that, maybe down in the leg areas. I think that would have been nice, but still looks really cool. Really sharp Autobot logo like that. I love how his wheels and his shoulders just stick all the way up. I just think that's a really cool silhouette. Now, you could put hands in the guns, but there are ports on his forearms right there. I just prefer them to do that because, I mean, dude, he's a total badass with all these weapons and things like that. I just think it looks super cool, and definitely way better than his alt mode. So really happy with the way this turned out. Okay, so with the robot mode, I want to check out the articulation. So the head, pretty much you're just going to get it to rotate left and right. It's a little tricky to do that with these shoulders or the wheels like that coming off the sides, but you can get it left or right. Arms can go full 360 just like so, up and out about that far. You want to kind of move this little piece like toward the back a bit because it will hit. So you just move towards the back and it'll go out about that far. We also do get rotation at the elbow or bicep, a single bend at the elbow, which actually bends in past 90 degrees. So that's really cool. Nothing at the wrist, that's all static like so. We can swivel at the waist, so that's really nice. We got hip joints, hip kick up and all the way that far, back about that much. Can do the splits all the way, which is really nice. Rotation in the upper thigh, and it came off the peg, and you want to be careful with that. Luckily, it holds on there pretty good. So we got a nice double, it's actually a single jointed knee, but because all this is clearanced by the gapping in the back of the calf, it can kick himself in the butt, and you could probably bend in even more if you really wanted to try. Then we do get that really cool ankle pivot that we're seeing with a lot of these figures to get wider stances, which is just really freaking nice, and I dig that a ton, man. So overall, I think this is really cool. I prefer this in his robot mode because that old mode is a little whack. So I'm not really into that all that much. I think this looks great. But he actually does have one more mode, which is going to require another figure, and you'll see exactly what I mean. Okay, so I know I said he technically has another mode, but what this guy really is kind of meant for is he is going to transform into armor for another Autobot here. So I have my boy Sideswipe that I just reviewed. We're going to armor this guy up with this guy, and I'm going to show you one of those right now, and we'll go on to the next one. So what you're going to do is just kind of fold the arms back like that, and they're going to spin these up like so, just like that, and then we'll just unplug them from the torso. We're going to rotate the head back like that, just like so, and then this chest peg is going to pop up like that. Then we can actually separate that and separate this whole thing from that whole crotch piece. We're going to fold that back, and then we could just actually fold, whoops, let me actually get that back right there, fold it just like that. So that's done like that. So that's pretty much all you need to do for that. Now what we're going to do is take this piece right here, and we're going to fold that up like so. That's going to be kind of like a backpack type of piece. We're going to take the legs, we're going to plug them back on just in like opposite directions. So take them like that, take them like that, and we're going to take these, kind of just bend them over like so. So that's kind of what we're doing here. Then we're going to take the arms and we're going to peg them in the bottom of the feet just like that. Actually, wrong side. Get that right there, so that goes good. And then get this one right here, just like that. So there you go. Then we're going to take our side swipe right here, and that little peg, we fold it down. We're going to plug that into the back like so, and you can see just kind of how gnarly this is. So you can do that like there, and this whole other portion turns into a gun like that. So you got some blasters right there, and yeah, that's one of the options we have with Cog to armor up another Autobot, which is gnarly. That's a little bit of an overkill for me, but I mean, it's cool. It's fun, especially for kids who want to do stuff like that. I know my nephew loves it, so that's just one option right there. And yeah, that's pretty nuts. But we do have another one. Okay, so for this one, we're gonna take the feet or the lower legs of a Cog right here, and we're gonna take these sections, just fold them in like so. Take the other one, fold them in like that, and that's pretty much all you need to do. Now it's a little weird because what you're supposed to do is actually peg them into the bottom of his feet like that. So I guess you can make him taller. So you just do that, and now we have that thing going on. So that's a thing, you know what I mean? And you can still articulate the ankles on Sideswipe here, so that's pretty cool. We have this piece still, so we can use this as almost still like a backpack. So we're gonna take this right here, and we're gonna actually unplug these guns from the arm pieces like that. Now what we're gonna do is take this, and we're gonna plug these onto that crotch area like that, where the legs would normally go into. Get them like that. So you go. Now we're gonna actually port this over his shoulders like that. So that looks pretty good. Now what it also shows is to take the guns like this and actually port that onto his forearms. They're a little loose on here, so I'm just gonna kind of have them resting in there, and hopefully they don't fall out, which I'm pretty sure they will. So you'll have something like that. Now what you're supposed to do is supposed to get this piece right here. Let me see if I'm doing this right. So I think you just kind of that, and then fold that in there like so, and you can actually fold that down. And now this peg in here is supposed to plug into his shoulder, so you can actually get that in there. If I'm doing this right, maybe I should just leave that part up. Yeah, I'll just do that. So then you plug that in there, and then it becomes like some crazy shoulder armor thing. So yeah, again, that's something you can do, which is pretty nuts. And it's okay. It's fun. It's a little weird, but I mean, I like it. It's pretty cool. It makes for a really just an interesting toy. And like I said, for kids, I think it's really fun. I don't think I'll be displaying him like that, because I think definitely like the robot mode better, but this is still really cool. And overall, I just think Cog is a really fun toy, and I think he's definitely worth picking up. So for a quick size comparison, here he is standing next to a Marvel Legends Deadpool figure, as well as a DCUC Batman figure. And for your Transformers comparison, here he is standing next to a Siege Deluxe Class Sideswipe and Voyager Class Optimus Prime. And just for fun, here he is standing next to a little Lego Bat Bomb. So there it is, guys, my review of the Transformers Siege War for Cybertron Deluxe Class Cog. Now overall, I think this is a really fun toy. He does have an amazing sculpt and really clean paint, and it's really wild at all the things you could do with this one little action figure. He does have some problems, like his alt modes are kinda whack, and some of those ports just do not work whatsoever. And I've had a lot of reports of saying loose joints are all over this thing. I still think he's a fun toy, and for me, that's what matters the most. Now, he's by no means one of the best, but he's definitely a cool piece to pick up. So I give him a rating of 3 Bat Bombs out of 5. So please comment, like, and subscribe. Stay nerdy, my friends. Peace.